Greetings, and welcome to the Fortress of Dorkness, the nerdy nexus for all your geeky needs. I'm your host, Christian Villarreal. The fourth wall, as opposed to the third wall, is a term referring to the imaginary wall between the audience and the film. A film breaks the fourth wall when it crosses this barrier, making the audience or its own story aware of the other's existence. This can be used for both comedic or dramatic effect, though generally you'll see it more in the former. Perhaps one of the masters of this purposeful leap is the comedic genius known as Mel Brooks. Today, we're going to be going over a few examples from some of Mel's other films before we jump into some specifically from 1977's High Anxiety. So without further ado, cut intentional jocular aptitude. Let's start with the basics. These three clips reflect the most common form of breaking the fourth wall, that is to directly address the audience.
I touched it.
It's good to be the king.
This creates a sense of involvement for the viewer.
Dim your eyes. Too late.
This may be the most common, but now let's jump into some clips from High Anxiety that take it to different extremes. Fourth wall breaks don't always mean the actors address the audience. It can also mean addressing another part of the film production, such as musical cues. Two in High Anxiety happen after Professor Littleman explains the dangers of high anxiety to Dr. Thorndyke.
It could cost you your life.
And again, after the gang finds Brophy tied up in the North Wing.
They drugged him. They're gonna throw him off and make it look like suicide.
Now let's get more creative. What if it isn't the actors doing the shattering of dimensions? How about the camera? Check out this innocent dinner scene. As the camera moves into the room, it shatters the glass on the doors, making the cast very aware of its existence. Brooks reused this gag in Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Next up, what if it's not cast who becomes self-aware, but the camera itself? In this, one of numerous Hitchcock camera homages in the film, the camera struggles to fight to keep the cast in frame. In this case, the camera has become aware that it exists, and so the subtlety of it is thrown out the window in humorous fashion. How about a literal break? As the film draws to a close, the camera pulls out and destroys the wall of the hotel room, as a man calls to just
Keep pulling back. Maybe nobody will notice.
This is actually a metagag, as the term breaking the fourth wall originated from the fact that sets in plays were only built with 3 boxed walls, and the fourth wall was the invisible line that the audience viewed the players through. Here, Brooks has literally broken the fourth wall. And finally, we'll leave High Anxiety and mosey on over to Brooks's 1974 western, Blazing Saddles, where he performs undoubtedly one of the most ridiculous, over-the-top, and elaborate fourth wall breaks of all time. As the flick draws to a conclusion, the camera pulls out of this aggressive fight scene all the way out of the soundstage and into the very studio lot itself. We then move into another movie entirely, when suddenly the cowfolk from Saddles begins to rain havoc on the entire studio and most of Burbank. Villain Hedy Lamarr
Not Hetty, it's Headley.
escapes via a taxi and arrives at the infamous Chinese theater, where he enters and watches the premiere of Blazing Saddles. Fourth wall breaks are always a good gag, if done right, so we recommend you keep your peepers open for these intentional moments, as meta-humor of its kind is becoming a bigger part of pop culture. That's all we have time for today. If you have any questions, comments, or snotty remarks, leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on our social media. This has been the Fortress of Dorkness. I'm Christian Villarreal, and always remember, never fear the dork up here.